Welcome back to The Watchman and welcome back to Washington, D.C. This is our QAEDA Summit. We're in the heart of the nation's capital at the Washington Convention Center. Over 5,000 committed pro-Israel activists standing proudly and boldly with Israel and the Jewish people. Now, earlier in the show, you saw our lineup of speakers: Vice President Mike Pence, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and many more. But we also had some leading analysts and experts on Middle East affairs right here at the QAEDA Summit. Here's a look at some of what they brought to the table.
This is always a big highlight for me, coming to the QAEDA Summit. I get very emotional. For the Jewish people, we're not used to having thousands of people, millions of people who love us and are standing with us, and that's really the big change that QAEDA has made for the Jewish community. Is, hey, wait a second. There's an army of people of 7 million plus who are standing with us and who love us and are there for us in our time of need, and that I get very emotional.
As a Christian, I love everything about the Bible, because what the Lord, my Lord Jesus Christ, teach me in the Bible. Everything is about Israel. His people, His country, His blessings, His everything.
It's really been remarkable. I was thinking about it yesterday. We heard from the Vice President, the Secretary of State. We heard from former Ambassador John Bolton. Today, a cadre of senators, both political and faith leaders, gathered here to accomplish one great purpose, and that was to stand up and speak up in support of Israel.
The Iranian regime wants to establish and reestablish an extremely toxic, dangerous mix of, I'll call it the embodiment of ideas. They want to rebuild the Persian Empire, but they want to do it as an Islamic radical empire run by essentially a fascist regime.
As King David wrote in the Psalms 3,000 years ago, Jerusalem unites us all together. You see the fulfillment of the kings, the prophets, what they said in the Bible thousands of years ago. We see it in our day. It's Bible times. As you and I talk about all the time, we're living in Bible times.
Thanks again to all of our great QAEDA speakers for their expert analysis. Folks, the best in the world when it comes to Israel, the Middle East, and why it all matters to you, we're gathered here at the QAEDA Washington Summit. If you weren't here this year, you'll be here next year in 2020. It is the premier pro-Israel event in the United States. Coming up after the break, my final thoughts about what this all means for Israel, for America, and for you. Don't move.